Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The regular meeting of the Grosse-Ile Township Planning Commission will come to order. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into the agenda, just a couple of things to briefly discuss. Over here on my left, Ross Quero, as this is his last meeting with the Planning Commission. He is moving on to a new position, exciting position in Ferndale.
Correct, yep.
So I remember when Ross first started over here, man, he was wet behind the ears.
And now I'm gray behind the ears.
But we put him through his paces. Now he's leaving a veteran, so somebody else is going to really benefit from your skill set. And thank you for all the work that you did to help us. It is greatly appreciated.
Yep, no, thank you all. I've learned a great deal since being here, and I wouldn't have learned as much without you all. Going through that master plan process was long, but I think that we had a great plan for the future, and it was an honor working with you all on that. Everything that I learned working at this township, it will carry on for the rest of my career, and I truly appreciate everything. So thank you all.
Thank you again, Ross.
Thanks.
Second announcement, my far right, we have Joe Gruber, who was in front of us at the last meeting and then went to the Township Board and was approved, and here he is.
Thank you.
Welcome, Joe. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Gruber. I am a proud newest member of the Planning Commission and look forward to serving this wonderful community I call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, on with the agenda. Additions and or deletions to the agenda. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve as submitted. So moved. Motion from Kovalak, support from Ranka. Call to question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda stands as published. Next is public comment, an opportunity for citizens to speak to the commission about any item not on the agenda. Is there anybody who would like? Yes, sir. Come on up.
I believe you're in receipt of my email.
Yes.
And
yeah.
So this is a public comment I'm going to make. It's not about anything on your agenda tonight, but it's something that could be put on your agenda if certain things that I heard at the board meeting on the 13th of October are moved forward. And I'll just read my public comment.
Please.
At the October 13th board meeting, Mr. Yeager suggested that Grosse-Ile may be in need of a policy change permitting some level of short-term rentals on Grosse-Ile. I'm not sure if this will result in any effort to change existing township zoning ordinance, but I stand opposed to any such changes and offer my experience with a nearby seasonal short-term rental as my rationale for opposing that. For the past 4 years, the owners of the home directly across the street from mine have engaged in short-term rental of their home from approximately early November to the middle of May the following year. This has been a frequent nuisance for me and my family. We're directly across the street from them. Driveways butt up right next to one another, end to end. Cars and trucks blocking the street, frequent comings and goings of both people and vehicles late into the night, and loud obscene language from some, not all, of the renters are just a few of the issues we've encountered. I filed complaints with the police and or the township administration each year this occurred, and the township acted accordingly, but the activity simply continued year over year. The township ordinance enforcement officials have indicated to me, and I believe Ross, we had a chat in April, that they've got a lot of these on their radar and that following up on all of them is pretty difficult. And so they depend on the citizens to step forward and report these. So that's what I've done. The reality here is that absent homeowners short-term renting their property have no ability to regulate what goes on there or who actually shows up at these sites. This is a safety concern, especially for our children. Even without the issues I've experienced, the tendency is for our residential areas to become commercialized in a way that makes them less desirable places to live and raise a family. This, in my opinion, contradicts the goals of the new master plan for the zoned residential areas and is simply anti-neighborhood and anti-community in nature. We have a specific prohibition of tourist homes in our township code of ordinances for a good reason. Once this activity is permitted, there will be no practical way to limit their numbers or locations, and I cite the fact that for 4 years running, I've been chasing this down, and this can't get stopped. So how permitting this and then licensing it will be managed, I just don't see how that's practical. I think if you let this genie out of the bottle, there will be no putting it back, and I don't think that if this happens, our neighborhoods will be the same.
Mr. Tyson, I should have asked you at the very beginning to share your name and your address for the record. I'm sorry.
And I thought that's the first thing I would do, and I forgot. Todd Tyson, Island Boulevard,
What's the address?
What was the address?
8253 Island Boulevard. And I don't know if it's of any use, but I have all kinds of photographs of the worst that you can expect when you have a site like this in your proximity. So that's my comment.
Well, let's hear some comments about this.
I don't know if you can follow up with the board and find out if this is actually something that's afoot, but if it is, then ultimately if there's going to be a change, it has to come before this board, correct?
Question for you, Ross. What exactly is the ordinance status on short-term rentals? Is there one?
There's not. So essentially what we've argued and what the circuit court has ruled is that zoning ordinances are permissible, right? So in the list of single-family zoning districts, there's a list of permitted uses, and there's special land uses, churches, schools, what have you. Essentially, what we've stated to all short-term rentals, anybody that's listed on Airbnb or Vrbo, is that the zoning ordinance does not permit short-term rentals in our zoning ordinance, and 9 times out of 10, they abide by that. By our letters, we send out enforcement letters. And they say, "Yep, didn't know. Apologies." Right now we're in 33rd District Court with the short-term rental issue. So sometimes we do get pushback. In this case, for Island Boulevard, when it comes to enforcing our zoning ordinances, we need to have a lot of evidence, right? So typically, a Vrbo listing or an Airbnb listing that matches the exterior of their home with the address. That's helpful, right? In this case, we haven't been able to find any evidence online that would hold up in court. So it's what made this issue has made it difficult for us and other short-term rentals.
Well, Ross, just not to interrupt you, but I texted Julie Cordes about this, and in April or early May, I can't remember exactly, of this year, with a link to the Airbnb listing. And then ask her to confirm if it's still live. When she looked at it, she says indeed it was. And that I would have to then file another official, complaint, citizen complaint. In the past, I've just had to either call the police and say, hey, look, there's 15 cars parked. There's boats parked on the lawn over there. There's, beer cans on the lawn. There's a lot of noise. It's 11:30 at night. What's going on? And they would go over there and they would clean that up, and then they would be cited for it. The same thing has happened in 2021, 22, 23, 24, and then this hasn't happened yet this year. But if it's going to, it'll be between now and the middle of May.
Gotcha.
So I'm watching.
Okay.
But, I was told by Julie that, I'd have to come in and file a formal complaint. I never had to do that before. So maybe there's some difference in the procedure since the first time I filed one. I just called, and they accepted that. But the link was live, and then literally a day later it was gone. So I think that someone reached out to them because they became aware, and the link disappeared. So far it hasn't come back up, but I'll watch. So, okay.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I'd like to ask a couple of questions, if I might.
Please.
When you have had these complaints about this large number of vehicles on the lawn and whatever, what measures did we actually take for you at what rate of speed, and how effective was it? I'm just asking how effective.
Oh, and I call the township. The township really isn't the problem here. The problem is the people renting their house to upwards of 20 different groups in a 3 or 4 month period of time. The townships always showed up.
And they have been effective in ameliorating the situation for at least
Well, they
that
can't,
moment?
because if you've got people that have planned something 6 months in advance and there's 9 or 10 or 15 cars and the road up and down on the curb is blocked up with cars because they don't all fit on the driveway,
Right.
they can't just leave. They've got nowhere to go. So, the first time Officer King showed up at my residence in response to my call, he went over there and he talked to them. And, I don't want to ruin the vacation. This is someone's vacation, right? And, but at the same time, it's my home, and I just think that the intensity of that kind of activity, especially if you're talking about potentially increasing the permissibility of this, well, it's already not permitted. And it's going on at a rate that, apparently is difficult for the township to track.
You've been
There's an active listing on Airbnb right now for an island house.
you've
You
been-
can find it
You've
yourself.
been putting up with this for a number of years now.
4
correct?
years.
What do you think needs to be done that hasn't been done?
Just better enforcement or better awareness. Somehow make people aware that this is something that is prohibited activity. It's not an approved land use. You
And it
can't.
seems that there's an opportunity in 4 years to say, let's find out what we can do to make things different and learn from what we've had happen.
I have a
in the
particular
past.
problem in that, township was not shy about letting the property owners know that this wasn't permitted. They can't do it. The issue is that despite that, they just did it anyway the next year. And then they got cited again. And if you look on the BSA portal, you can see the citations in 2022, 2023, 2024, and they just continued to do it year over year. So if there's a fine, $500, that's one night's lease. It's a business cost at that point.
Well, it strikes me, Bill, that this is a township board issue, and perhaps the way, that sort of thing will continue so long as it's financially viable.
If you've got a list of it sitting there, you've got evidence that I would think would have some weight somewhere. I'm not a lawyer, but if you say this property has on this given date done such and so, this given date done such and so, I would think it's somewhere in court that would have some evidence that would be meaningful.
Right. Well, I mean, the Airbnb listing, plus all the cars out in front, you can put those two together, and then you can walk up to any of the people and they say, hey, who are you? Why are you here? They say, well, we're renting this Airbnb. That happened to me a couple times, taking my trash out. I said, what are you guys doing here? Oh, we're renting this Airbnb. And they did. I think Julie approached one of the people too. I talked to her for about a half an hour on the curb. She had her cruiser out, and I flagged her down, and we were talking, and she had gone up and just knocked on the door, and a person answered and said, yeah, this is the Airbnb that we rented, and we're here from Las Vegas, and I don't know what they're doing. It's none of my business what they're doing, but the point is that it's not happening once or twice in a season. It can happen 20 or 30 times in a season. So this is right in front of my house, and we constantly have to make sure that if we're backing out of our driveway at night, we don't hit a car that's parked there. Sometimes they park on both sides of the street, so there's a narrow little slot where you've got to thread the needle to try to get through there. So it's just a nuisance. And if I were 4 doors down, I probably wouldn't be talking to you folks tonight, because it's a very localized issue. But if we permit more of it, I just fail to see how we're going to be able to permit it and control the numbers and frequency, the numbers of people and frequency of these visits to these sites.
Well, I can say that no one has approached the Planning Commission to make any change in anything in this regard. So if there's discussion at the Township Board, Bill, that's something that you're going to just need to address with your colleagues there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, I'm not here to criticize any persons or people, just a potential change to permit more of this kind of a permissibility for this policy. I just don't think that would be
Sir,
good.
do you have some kind of an organized presentation of these various incidents that you've reiterated?
Just some photographs of.
Well, what I'm saying is, if I go to the board with something, with comments similar to what you've just made, some documents.
I could do
pictures,
that.
Yeah, it makes it live a little more.
Yeah, I can do that. There was a statement. I did have a similar statement. I wasn't unable to make the 26th meeting, but Brian Friel read my comment to the board, and they're aware of it. And one of the trustees called me and we had a discussion about it because they had the same problem with someone doing exactly the same thing next to
Called
it.
you.
Well,
I don't think Miss Bartlett.
Okay, thank you.
Bartlett.
well, public awareness is a good thing, and you've served that purpose tonight. But
Yeah.
this is a township board issue, and I really suggest you make this similar discussion and provide, the documentation at one of at their next board meeting or
I can
whatever.
certainly do that. I just
And-
wanted to come here
and-
because I thought this would be a regulatory body that this would be going to in order to make such a change. I didn't think they were going to be making a zoning change themselves that would have to come to the planning commission.
Yeah, so far, nothing.
Okay.
So, thank you very much for taking the time to send the email to me and to make the presentation.
Okay,
I
thank you.
appreciate it. This is an important topic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment not on the agenda? No hands, we'll move on. Next is a pre-application site plan review for West Shore Golf and Country Club. Mr. Howie? A little background on this first. This is a topic that we've talked about before. Little background before Mr. Howie gets into this. 3 or 4 meetings ago, we approved a site plan for the construction of the single large building near the north property line of West Shore, near West River Road. It was designed for housing of the golf carts and also to facilitate installation of at least 2 new golf simulators. This was approved. A neighbor filed a motion with the ZBA stating that the proposed building should not have been reviewed by the Planning Commission as a modification to a site plan, but in fact should have been a modification to a special land use because of its size. That went in front of ZBA, and for that appeal to be heard, the ZBA first had to make a judgment about whether the person filing the appeal had standing. And so they went through that legal process and ultimately determined that the person filing the application or the appeal did not have standing. So that ended the discussion as far as ZBA was concerned. So then about 2 weeks ago, we met with West Shore, and that was Brian and Ross and me, and they presented us with a new proposal. Their board of directors had felt that the approved proposed building was indeed, they felt, too intrusive. And so they went back to the drawing board and presented a new proposal with 2 buildings. One building, which was specifically for golf carts, would be exactly where the current golf cart storage area is on the property, and then a much smaller building, which would be on the north property line, but away from West River Road and pushed all the way back toward where the first tee is at. We had a good discussion about this, and there were some things that needed to be evaluated, most important of which was the overall floor area. The overall increase in floor area is what determines whether it is a modification to a site plan or a modification to a special land use. The original plan was clearly fell in the category of a site plan. Okay, this particular proposal looks to be about 2,000 square feet bigger and needed to be really finely looked at so that we would know exactly what process we review this under. And that particular step hasn't been adjudicated yet. So in any event, we felt that given this extent of the change and the fact that this is a radical departure from what we had previously approved, that it would be good for West Shore to come on in, introduce this whole concept to the full Planning Commission, and receive input from you guys, from you folks, and then we can move forward when the information becomes available that we need for processing. So that's pretty much the background on that. Does anybody have any questions on that? You know, we're not going to vote on this tonight. This is simply a pre-application, and we're going to listen and offer comments. So on that note, I will stop.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to say good evening, Planning Commission members, and good evening to the township officials and to your township consultant. So my name is Bob Howie. I reside at 2945 Riverside Drive in Trenton, Michigan. So as usual, I am always happy to be here in front of your group. I won't go into too much detail. I think for the kind of the quick summary in what's going on, but after careful consideration, we've taken a look at some of the issues and topics that were discussed. So we feel we come back to the table with what I call a win-win-win, and what I mean by that is when you take a look at the a win for West Shore. We're talking about that's good for the members. It's good for the staffing that's at West Shore. And one of the things that this plan does is you just take a look at the parking. I mean, take a look at the parking lot layout. Obviously, it's cleaner, it's simpler, it's going to be easier to maintain. We take a look at the building size. We're able to shrink the building down a little bit. That's going to save the members' construction costs in time. One of the big things that we like about it is in the simulator room, there's also a golf range. It's nice when one of the things that West Shore doesn't have now is an area where the golfers can go in there and warm up, stretch out. You know, as we get a little older, we're young, we go right from the car right to the first tee. Well, those days are over, so it's nice to go in. We have 4 mats. It's not a big area. You can see on the site plan it says temporary parking, so the golfers can come in there, park the carts right outside on the east side of the building, go in, warm up for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and go right directly to the first tee. So we think that's a real big benefit. Another item that we were trying to, there was a lot of congestion around, if you take a look around the existing parking and the existing bag drop area. So we've kind of formalized an area for the bag drop. So there'll be, if guests do come, we know exactly where you can drop the bags off and whatnot. And another big item that we feel is this proposal, when you take a look at the exterior elevation, we feel that it really complements the existing clubhouse. Another win would be for, there's some, as you stated, there's been some discussion about the concerns with the adjacent landowner. So at our last meeting, there were some comments about, well, it's a big building, it's right along the north property line. So we did comply with the 20-foot buffer. Everything was squeaky clean with that. We decided to move the building away from the north property. And not only are we moving it away from the north property line, we went from a 120-foot long building to 68 foot. So we've almost cut the building in half. And then we've increased the buffer from what was 20 foot to 34 and a half feet. That's on the would be the northwest corner, but on the northeast corner, it's almost 40 feet. So clearly, we've almost doubled that space between the property line and the building. Another issue that was discussed or talked about was the close proximity to the charging of the carts and everything. So again, the building was at 20 foot. Our cart storage charging area is going to be over 88 feet away. So we've increased that by almost 4.5 times. So we really feel that was an important benefit. You know, originally we had the bag room inside the one large building. Now that we moved the cart storage back, the bag room will remain in the existing bag room where it's at today. And I would say, you know, looking at the last item is, there was talk about some potential water runoff and whatnot. We already had it covered by having roof downspouts that were collected underground and drained to the east. Hennessy Engineers, the engineers for West Shore, they've now included a swale. So we have a nice swale, drainage swale, along the north property line that will continue to drain east, and they also have a berm in there. And I would say, lastly, the last win of the win-win-win, I mean, just taking a look at, this is good for the entire Groseal Township. whenever you have, I mean, look at how many communities, townships, villages, and cities are hemorrhaging right now trying to get tax revenue. So when you have one of your largest taxpayers, one of your largest, not the largest, for sure top 10, largest people who employ people, businesses in your community, they make a substantial investment. I think that's good for everybody. And then so with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. If need be, I've got 3 very smart people, way smarter than I, that would be able to help out.
I think they appreciate that comment. Okay, well, let's go first. Brian, you were part of that meeting with us. Do you have any comments that you'd like to share about this?
I do not, Mr. Chair. As you've kind of referenced already, the thing that we need to button up next is really the ratio of the expansion so that we can determine the proper review process. So once that is in place, we'll be ready to move forward. Mr. Howie and I did have a quick chat before the meeting. I think those numbers are pretty close, so I think we'll have those numbers and that data yet this week, and we can let commission know exactly which path this will need to take, whether it's special use on site plan or just site plan.
Very good. Well, let's go around the table and get some thoughts. Brian, let's start with you.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that you're looking to revise plans in order to make things more comfortable for everyone, adjacent landowners. And I understand you didn't have to do that, so that's great to be able to be doing that voluntary. I don't. It's hard for me to see up on screen what you're specifically proposing, but again, in spirit, I'm glad that you guys are doing this and look forward to seeing the application if it does come before the Planning Commission.
Okay.
Rankin.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I want to see, I'm interested in the details. From what it sounds like, you're shrinking the overall building, maybe taking the carts out of that building. But then is there going to be a separate cart path building that gets rebuilt as well then?
Perhaps I could just go through. I thought we printed off copies for everybody, but maybe they weren't distributed.
Yeah, they weren't distributed because we didn't have a formal application, so we just kind of withheld that for.
Okay. Can I just do a quick
Please,
little summary?
give us
if
an
I could?
overview.
So, okay, so we're looking at the building, the floor plan. So on the north side, you'll see 4 simulators. Up closest to the south, there's a area that we're calling the golf range. There's 4 mats there. Typically, if you have a foursome, the people would come in from the east side of the building, go in there, warm up, stretch out. Directly across the aisle from there's going to be a storage room, a bathroom, and a mechanical, electrical room, and potentially a small office. And then to the south, in this area right here, that's where the cart charging is. We still have 64 cart charging. It's going to be a one-way, so you come in from the east, and the carts come out the west. And you can see there's the garage doors on that side right there. During winter months, they'll disconnect the chargers, disconnect the power, close the garage doors down. And then, and you can look at the front elevation here. This clearly, when you take a look at, I don't know if we could, can we put?
And you can
Put it on there.
put it down, and then Brian, can you
Help them out.
help? What's there?
Whoa.
So you can see that's the existing clubhouse, and then when you go back to the floor plan, clearly it. So I got to turn that off to go back to the plan now. Sorry for the inconvenience.
That take us back, Ross? Oh, there it comes.
There we go. Yeah, and you can see the elevation there. So clearly it's going to complement that. As far as the site plan goes, here's the one large building that's used to be the 120-foot building. You'll see when you get the full-size drawings, I did show the existing footprint of the 120-foot wide building by 60, so you can kind of see exactly where what was approved. We still have the same amount of landscaping, the buffer along that side right here. We cleaned up the parking. We're actually going to have plenty of parking. Now we've got some landscaping around the parking. You know, obviously we're way over what's required when it comes down to the landscape requirements and whatnot. So that kind of gives you an idea of what it's at. I think when you see the full-size drawings, it's going to be clear that this truly is what we consider a win-win-win for everybody.
All right, and I think the other thing that you mentioned to us was the materials of construction and the style will match the existing clubhouse.
For sure. Yep.
So there won't be any.
Yeah, when you take a look at the drawings, everything on it says we're going to match existing piers. We're matching the size of the windows. We're matching the brick. We're matching the roofing materials. So it's clearly going to complement the existing facility. We feel really strong with that. I mean, because it's a big building, and there's no doubt about it. It's smaller than what the original building is, but I mean, clearly moving it, we're almost 40 foot off the north property line now. So I think we've taken everything into consideration.
Right. Eric, any more thoughts?
Nothing else, no.
Okay. Kurt?
I'm good.
Joe, any thoughts?
Yeah, just real quickly, reiterate what Brian said. I think your client's willingness to voluntarily change the plan to accommodate the neighbors to the north demonstrates their willingness to work with the community and their commitment to the community in providing this great resource to everybody here. Question, it struck me when you pulled up that front elevation that big utility pole right near the front entrance. Is the parking lot reconstruction of the existing parking lot part of the scope of work?
Some of the utility poles will have to be removed, and there'll be some underground electrical that's going to have to, we need to get the electrical from point A to point B.
Sure.
So there's Hennessy engineers, they're working on this. They're working on the drainage. They're working on all the details. So once we get past site plan approval, then we'll go do our due diligence.
And
There's a lot of questions. I mean, even like on the trusses, for example, for the roofs, potentially it could be a 3-piece truss, it could be 4-piece truss, and we're going to have to sit down with the pre-engineered truss companies and see what can come across the bridge and some of the different challenges that we're going to have.
Sure. Yeah, I know that can be a costly undertaking, but it's huge impact aesthetically.
For
So,
sure.
And then just out of curiosity for the commissioners, was the resident to the north involved in any way in the decision-making process, or has that resident been informed
No,
of your client's willingness to change the plans?
I don't want to go into too much. I mean, I tried to share when we left, and said, hey, look, I live right across the river. I've been an architect and a builder in your community for 30 years, and we're not going anywhere, and whatever we can do to try to make things, work out. And I believe that the West Shore has. Art, would you like to come up?
Art, give us your name and address, please.
Art Wall, 22540 East River, second year as president at West Shore. I reached out to her this summer as a neighbor in a letter that was directed to her as a neighbor. When this idea started to come about, I said I would just like to share with you our idea, have a little information sharing, nothing to do with lawyers or legal, just between two of us residents on the island. I sent that letter certified so that I would at least know. She did, or the letter was signed for the next day, and I did not receive any communication from the individual after that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe once you guys see the full-size set of drawings, you'll be able to see really, it'll articulate the things that we're talking about, and that's why we said we really think it's a win-win-win.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Bill?
I think that, thank you. I think that the position you're in now shows creativity and consideration. I think those are important words for a circumstance like this, because if it ends up with that people able to cooperate with each other in the future, it's better for everybody.
Oh, for sure, and we hope that will be the case. there'll be cooperation in there. I mean, they clearly, we're putting our best foot forward on this, and we're trying to make everything. And then we went around and around on the relationships of, the bag room and the cart storage and whatnot. So it has to be something that's going to, function properly for the club as well.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, I had the opportunity to sit with you guys and see the plan in detail, and I have to say it is head and shoulders above the original proposal. No question about it, and you are to be commended for taking a step forward to resolve a dispute that you didn't really have to resolve. But that's being a good neighbor, and I think when the neighbor to the north sees the changes that have been made, that you're going to get a whole different response. And I hope, though, that neighbor is going to come and participate with us, when we do come up for site plan or special land use, because we always want input. But, knowing what the concerns were with the original proposal and knowing how you've addressed those concerns in this proposal, I think you've met the requirements.
Sure. Yep.
So, I congratulate you guys. Well done.
Well, thank you. And we're pretty confident it's going to be a minor, so it's not going to have to go through, the full special land use. We've already started crunching the numbers and whatnot. So,
one question: what's your timing in terms of expectations?
Well, we're hoping, obviously, with the holiday coming up, so there's probably not going to be another second meeting in November, but hopefully the first meeting in December, we get it approved, and then we're going to go right into due diligence and start talking with trust companies, start talking with the people from the simulators, and Hennessy engineers will start working out all the parking and drainage and bringing sanitary sewer, water lines. So there's a lot of things that happen, but I would say the board and a lot of the members, they're saying, hey, spring, April 1, we want to put a shovel in the ground. So that's why timing is of the essence. Whatever we can do to you have to do your due diligence. We're going to continue to do our due diligence and get the information so you guys can make your, the best educated decision. So we feel pretty confident.
Yeah, well, by all means, work that out with Brian. And
Yep.
so
Brian's been great. So you know what, and he needs something, he'll send me an email, and if I got something, I'll send it to him. So we just got to try to ham and egg it and get the information in front of you folks, and hopefully it'll be no later than December 1st.
very good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, going back to the agenda, we're up to the lot split reconfiguration number 338. Little background on this. I need a little help on this, Ross. I don't know who exactly is the applicant here. Is it Grosio Township as the buyer of property, or is it the seller?
Correct. We're the purchaser.
And are you representing the township?
Yeah, but Brian will be presenting. But I'll just give a brief background.
Okay, well, as long as I know.
Okay.
All right, then I will give an introduction here, and then we'll move on. Okay, so the applicant is Grosio Township, and this involves the purchase of property along Macomb Street. The location, lots legally 39, 40, and 41 of Horace Gray subdivision, and lot 107 of Supervisor's GI plot subdivision number 7. The common location, 7795 Macomb. This is the former bank building. Now it has multiple business offices in it, and it's just opposite the intersection of Lyons and Macomb. The proposal, it's to reconfigure 3 lots that currently are fronting Macomb, and 1 lot which is behind all 3. What is proposed is to reconfigure those lots into 2 lots, each running the full depth. One consisting of the office building, and the second, the property to the west, which is vacant. And it is the property to the west which the township is in the process of or has purchased. Is that correct?
Will purchase, yes.
Will purchase. Okay, so that's contingent on the lot being created. Okay, the zoning on this is Macomb Street District. The relevant ordinances are Article 19, General Provisions, specifically 19.21, lot splits and consolidations, and of course, Article 7, Macomb Street. The process is a planning commission review. We make a recommendation to the township board. The township board then makes the final decision. Brian, you're the man.
Let's not get carried away, Mr. Chair. Well, the last applicant said that you were good. So keep it going, right?
By the end of this meeting, you guys aren't going to know what's happening.
I know.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. As always, honorable commissioners, thank you for your time this evening. I will walk you through as quickly as I possibly can the request that's in front of you. Chairman's introduced. Ross, if he has any additional commentary, please feel free to chime in. So what's before you tonight is, under the township ordinance, is considered a land division. We having a couple newer members who probably haven't been through this process. The most common type of land division we see in the township is more of a boundary adjustment. So it's typically the movement of a common boundary line. Typically it's a side lot line, other times it's a stranger configuration. But so we have over many, many, many years, we have come to term these reconfigurations because it isn't really a split in that a new buildable parcel is being created. We're really more manipulating lot lines, usually to get cleaner properties and or cleaner building envelopes for potential development. So you'll often hear me refer to this when we have a simultaneous split and combination as a reconfiguration. That terminology is consistent in my review letter. So just wanted you to have a little background on that. So Chairman's already identified the properties for you. So in total, if you look at the survey drawings, which I'll show you shortly, but this is all of the property that we're dealing with tonight here. So it includes the former bank building and then this vacant piece of land immediately adjacent to it. I should phrase too, this aerial that's presented to you is south facing up. So a little disorienting, but it made the properties fit better, quite frankly. So so that's what we're dealing with tonight. Chairman's already identified the review process per Article 19 of the zoning ordinance. It's before commission for recommendation. Township board does have final review and approval authority. Now, on to the actual drawing. So this is what Chairman referenced at the introduction. So the piece in yellow is currently one parcel. This does house the existing building, the existing parking lot, all of the improvements to the site. And then the parcel in blue is the second piece of land. And then the proposal is to go from what looks like this to what looks like this. So in essence, I can probably do this really fast and make it look better. But in essence, what's happening here is that rear 100 feet of this property, as Chairman noted, is being divided from this parcel combined with this parcel so that it does run the full depth of the properties as was already referenced. So the table on the right side of the slide here is just a little cheat sheet, just as a little bit of commentary. So there are no issues with this request dimensionally. It does not cause any issues. Both of the resulting parcels will comply with minimum road frontage requirements. There technically are no lot area or lot width minimums in the Macomb Street district, but both are of sufficient size that they can accommodate what's already there and B, accommodate what is proposed in the future with the township's portion of this property. So I've already noted that. And then as Ross mentioned, so the township's interest in this is for a future, I believe it's a playground is the actual intent. I wrote park/playground, but give or take, that's essentially what they're looking to do here. And then the remaining parcel here, proposed parcel 2, would still house the existing improvements of the former bank building. So this is about as easy of a review as they come for me. I did prepare the full write-up for you. I condensed it even more for this slide. And the long story short is the review standards in the ordinance for land divisions, they are all met in this instance. Those that maybe I would claim are not met simply don't apply. There are no non-conforming situations that are being mitigated. They don't exist and they won't exist. There's no issues here. There are no easements that are impacted. None are depicted. None are needed for future development or to maintain the existing development. And as we typically do with these requests, we did reach out to the Township Assessor's Office, and they did confirm that there are no special assessment districts that will be impacted by this proposed sort of land swap, if you will. So in essence, this is about as clean as they come for me. So I don't have much else to present, but obviously I'm happy to take any questions the commission may have.
Okay, well, let's run around the table. Eric?
No questions. This is pretty straightforward.
Brian?
Ditto.
Bill?
I feel a little bit slow with this. I see this getting moved around. Are we going to own both the pink or the red and the blue out for 200,000, or just the blue?
Just the blue.
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure I had my head on straight with that. So it'll get reshaped and we'll get the new shape. Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Thank you. Kurt?
No.
Joe?
No questions.
I have no questions. Entertain a motion, please, regarding this application.
Make a
So
motion.
moved.
Make a motion to recommend to the Township Board lot split reconfiguration number 388.
Support. Support from Brian?
Yep.
Motion from Koblak. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Recommendation is made. Please forward that on to the Township Board so they can get on with their purchase.
Yeah, Brian, you are good. Really, amazing. What
can I say?
Seriously. If I wasn't me, I'd be you.
It's
Well,
a
at
good
least you
time.
didn't say surprising.
I didn't say surprising.
Thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Going back to the agenda, there's nothing in the way of additional discussion I'm aware of or commission member reports, so consequently, the chair's report. Thought we would advise you of what happened on the visibility triangle that we sent. It got to the board rejected it, and determined that they wanted the language exactly as the attorney had proposed it, which included the trampoline system. They used the Robert's Rules of Order technique so that they were able to reintroduce this, and I assume that's happened.
Is not, it got brought to the previous board meeting, then that member didn't show up, so now it's being reintroduced again at the next meeting, so it'll be coming back for
Yeah,
the
and
third
so
time.
by using this technique, it does not come back to us.
Correct.
They have the ability to change it themselves. And so they want it in there, so they're putting it in. That's the way it is. Okay, any questions or comments on that?
Nope.
Brian, anything in our hopper?
Just
Obviously Wet Shore?
Yeah, West Shore would be the primary one. If it's not out of line, Mr. Chair, I thought that maybe this would be a chance we could start looking at next meeting date
Please.
to make sure everybody's ready. So the next regular meeting technically would be, I think theoretically, the Wednesday would be before Thanksgiving? Or it's the week before. But as far as West Shore goes, I don't think that's realistic at this point. So I would like to target that first December meeting. If commissioners are okay with that, it would be Monday the 1st.
Monday the 1st?
Yeah.
How's that look for everybody? Look all right?
For first?
That should be fine.
I probably
Okay.
will not be able to make it,
Can't make it? Okay.
but there's no reason to hold it up for me.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, would you put the word out, please,
Yes.
for commissioners to plan on that and see if we can, get a,
We'll confirm that tomorrow, or at least we'll get the
Information.
email out tomorrow, hopefully get that confirmed. The reason I do want to look at that date, just so commission's clear, and I understand the West Shore folks have left already, but I did talk to them before too. One, on the chance that it does require special land use review as well, December 1st still gives us enough time to do the proper notification, so we can look to that meeting date regardless of what their calculations provide back. And two, even if it's not needed, it does give us enough time to get through the actual site plan review, get the comments back to commission, get you all of their materials in enough time that you're ready for that December 1st meeting.
given how much we know about this project and from its history and all that, if it requires special land use, I'd like to show both as special land use and site plan on the same night.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right. Anything else, anybody else would like to raise? Ross, Brian, commissioners? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.